this is a little bit about me and why I'm here, what I'm doing here. I set up the academy. Really, first sessions were in 2023, became a CIC in 2024. And um, it was a big leap for me. I'd moved from Brighton to Devon in 2020. So big life change off the back of doing a lot of inner work, a lot of therapy stuff, and decided to chuck everything up in the air and move to somewhere more spacious. My background is really varied. My degree was in social science. So I started off working for local authority, then went into residential care, worked with lots of different client groups, but mostly older people. And in between that, ran a pub, busy West End pub, had a lot of fun. And I've done things from, waitressing, cleaning, all the way through to being a funeral celebrant. So really varied, but always around people. Always interested in what makes people tick, and what it is that helps us to really live our best lives. I made a decision very early on in life that I wasn't going to stick with anything just because I thought that I should. Um, but I was always going to be true to myself and kind of be driven to seek happiness, not to settle. And that's led to quite a bumpy path along the way in many ways, but I wouldn't have it any other way because now here I am, 52. I'm very, very happy in my life living with my lovely partner, Nikki. She and I met at Age UK a few years ago. So we're in Newton Abbot, um, with the dog Lola. And life is really good, and it wouldn't have happened without the bumps. So I've done a lot of listening, a lot of learning, a lot of thinking about what makes people tick and myself. And within that, creativity has had a massive, massive role. I did the Artist's Way in 2020, in 2015. Before that, I literally couldn't say the words. I'm creative. It opened me up to my creativity, to my recovery journey. I stopped drinking in 2021. It opened me up to therapy. It was the beginning of everything changing for me. And now I happily call myself a poet, a writer, a maker. I love spending time in nature, and have no such thing as guilty pleasures. I am a shameless telly addict as well. So a judgment-free zone. I'd be very surprised if anybody could ever tell me anything that made me think, oh my goodness, that's awful, about something that they've done. I've heard all kinds of things over the years, and I just believe that being a human can be quite tricky. And the more that we share about the trickiness, the easier it gets to be kind to ourselves. And the best way to do that is in community with other people saying, I don't know what to do with this. And bringing that support in so we can all support each other and go, yeah, I wouldn't know what to do with that, but come on, I'll walk alongside you while we figure it out. So that's a little bit of a way in to wintering well as well. Um, the bit I didn't say was about the ADHD assessment. You've probably got that from that little gabble. Didn't practice a speech. So yeah, you just got it all. Blah, 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 blah. Yeah, that's me in a
Yeah.
nutshell. You don't need to clap, it's fine. Um, so, and that's a little bit about why wintering well has come onto the table as well. And I'm going to do a little poll in a moment. Where do we want to go for? Well, I don't really need to do it. There's three of us in the room. We could probably do the maths, couldn't we? I was going to introduce Karen before I did that, though, because Karen's working with me on the project. She and I met last year when both of us were doing a coaching and mentoring qualification. And we've stuck together ever since. One whole year is our anniversary. And I was just absolutely delighted when she agreed to support Wintering Well, support me on the project. Yeah, do you want to say anything, Karen?
Yeah, so I have been working kind of for myself for 13 maybe 14 years now. So I do marketing, designing and delivering kind of marketing for large and small organizations. Um, I'm also an open water swim coach. I've been doing that for 5 years, a wheel and a deal. And you'd think I'd know everything about well-being and looking after myself. And then I met Melissa. And there's a lot more to learn. I've done a couple of courses. Um, and learnt from Melissa, and I'm completely on board now. Um, and I'm here to kind of support Melissa with the marketing, so I'll be kind of kicking around here throughout the wellbeing program.
Karen asked me a question quite early on about how I wanted people, or how, we wanted people to feel at the end of wintering well. And this is what came in really, that it was time well spent, that people felt supported, connected, empowered, and inspired. And when I was thinking about the program, for me, that meant having lots of different touch points through the week, which is why we set it up as it is. And I'm aware that it's quite a lot to take in. So to begin with, there's going to be a period of settling in really, and just trying to understand what happens on what day and what the function of each of the sessions is. So we've got the Tuesday group coaching, and then Wednesday and Thursday co-working, Friday celebration, offloading session. And as well as that, we've got the monthly workshops, online space for sharing resources, and monthly themed socials. So there's quite a lot to get our heads around.
Mhm.
Um, so I thought it'd be helpful just to go through what each of the days might look like. And the Tuesday group coaching session is the starting point, really. So it's somewhere for us to just check in at the beginning of the week. We do a short activity just to bring us all together, bring everybody into the room. And then there'd be space for group coaching, one topic or two, depending on what people bring. It might be that there's only one person who's brought something that week, and that we can go into it a little bit deeper. But like to set it up so we've got 20 minutes just to do a quick dive and to help people really move forward with whatever is coming up as an issue for them on that day. Um, my experience of group coaching is it can be really wonderful to sit in the room as somebody else is being coached. Um, there's a lot of crossover in issues that people bring to the table. We can get a lot of our own insights by listening to other people work through stuff. Um, and it's a way of us feeling more connected and less alone with our own challenges as well. So my experience is that it can be a really valuable way of um, spending some time. Some people might not want to be coached in front of people, and that's absolutely fine. So, we've thought about how we could do that. So, if a person brings a topic and they want to work it through, then we would have one way of doing that. If they don't want to be in direct conversation, they can do it anonymously. So we can work that out as well. So, oop, too quick. So, how it works: submit a topic on a Monday, be a first come, first served basis, but we can roll topics over from week to week. And as I said, either be anonymous or an open conversation. If somebody doesn't want to talk, then I would just introduce the topic, and there'd be an open invitation for the people in the room to suggest questions that the person could use for journaling, to reflect, to help them move forward with the topic. And we can also have a general discussion about it, what other people's similar experiences might have been.
It's the
If
coaching,
somebody,
wellness coaching
it could be about wellness,
or
it could be
business.
about
Or,
business issues, it could be about, social media, it could be about anything really. So I think the thing with coaching for me is none of us need to be an expert in it. Coaching really is about asking good questions. So it could be about wellness, it could be about well-being, it could be about a project idea. Yeah, I don't think there's really many limits on what it could be. I'm imagining that because of the title of the program and because of the people who are coming along, it will either be around well-being, personal well-being, or around ideas for the groups they're supporting, or around how to move their business forward. But I'm not limiting it to that. It could be anything really. And then, so after the session, any key points will be shared into the online space, and there'll be an invitation for the group to share their experience. So I had something like that. This is how I dealt with it. This is what worked for me. So we can continue the discussion in the online space after the session.
Mm-hmm.
So the online space that I've mentioned, so it'd be a closed group. It's hosted on my CRM. I use Go High Level for business support. So it's a space really just for sharing resources, any kind of follow on from group coaching. And again, I'm not kind of limiting it. It might be that we use it for inspiration, for sharing pictures of our creative endeavors, for other kinds of problem solving. Don't have a fixed idea about how it will be. I think it will just evolve through the course of the program. Then Wednesday, Thursday, co-working spaces. I mean, this is something that I found incredibly helpful particularly when I was living on my own. So having some sessions where basically body doubling, so just coming in, saying hi to people, saying this is what I'm going to be working on, and then actually getting on with it. And something really powerful about seeing other people working on the screen. I thought in the beginning it would be a bit weird and it would just feel a bit odd, but actually I found it to be really helpful. So we can have a bit of a tea break and a bit of a natter at the halfway point if that's what people want, but essentially a couple of hours of just getting some focus work done. And then the Friday session will be, again, just a check-in, a little activity to bring us all together, and then space to offload about anything that's been tricky in the week, to review how the week's gone, and to perhaps plan for the week ahead, and to celebrate any kind of achievements. One of the things that I know to be true for myself is I've had to do a lot of work around really recognizing how much I do in a week and how much things do move and progress. I think if you're just working in your own space, or if you're just in your own space, it can be easy to just feel like nothing much is happening. So having that little checkpoint in the week can be really useful. And again, so it doesn't necessarily need to be about this is how things have been in my business. It could be this is how things are being in my well-being. This is where I'm at. This is what's going on for me. So I'm not dictating what shape, what form these conversations will have. It's open for people to bring whatever feels most alive for them on the day. Mention the workshops. So three workshops through the course of the programme. The first one will be what is wintering well. So again, that'll be an interactive workshop about what that looks like for us and what strategies we can use to winter better together. Social, the dates for those are all on the planner. So that's more of a chat session. And that is almost the final slide. I'm going to come out. So I'm aware it's a lot. When I was doing the presentation, I'm like, gosh, it's a lot. When I was speaking to Karen, we're trying to organize it into a landing page. It's a lot. Yeah. Any questions, any thoughts, any responses to that?
Yeah, to come on the program, what would be the weekly time commitment? I haven't added it up in my head.
So part of what we've been thinking about is how to actually nurture community. So what we're asking is that people are able to commit to 2 sessions a week. And it might be that people can't make 2 sessions every week. We understand, life happens and there might be breaks and there might be holidays and whatnot, but the intention to be 2 sessions a week.
Yeah.
Because that's how people get to know each other. And when people know each other better, then they feel more able to open up and to share. And then that's when the really good stuff happens. The quicker we can come to that point, then the more value we get. I think otherwise, yeah, that's my thinking behind it.
Yeah. I'm kind of sitting thinking how I would do it, and where I suppose it's looking at the week, isn't it? Thinking, right, where am I during the week, or when's a good time for me to drop in and be there. So I'm already kind of thinking, well, Thursdays are difficult for me at that time, but Tuesdays, great. So I'll be there on a Tuesday. On a Wednesday, I'm already kind of thinking about packaging what I'll do on a Wednesday. So thinking, okay, well, a Wednesday, I'm going to sit and I'm going to do some work, and I will, because I've got other people with me, kind of around me on the screen. So thinking about what I could achieve in 2 hours of focus work, I think is a really useful thing to me, but to kind of put that in my diary. And then the Friday. So that's what I'm kind of thinking for me, and maybe popping on a Thursday. But it's that managing it around existing commitments, isn't it? Yeah.
Any thoughts, any questions?
Nope, not for me.
No? All right. Should we look at Calm Christmas then?
Yeah. Oh, sorry. The other thing I was just popped into my head is, if you know anybody that you think would benefit from this, it's Cornwall, Devon, and Somerset, the Wintering Well programme. People that are either in community or voluntary sector, kind of small organisations, or freelancers, or sole traders. Do let them know.
This is a version of stress bingo. So rather than marking off numbers on your card, you would fill a bingo card with words, phrases. It could be a particular look that a particular person does. You are filling a grid with things that press your buttons. Somebody might say something like, "Oh, is that how you do yours?" And it might be not the words that they say, but the tone that they use. So you could, for example, have in one of your sections, so and so said, "Oh, is that how you do yours?" And as they say it, you tick it off your bingo card. And what we're trying to do here is, rather than hearing their words and having that response, or that oh response, or a negative one, a feeling that we don't necessarily want to welcome in, instead of that, we're hearing them or seeing them, and we're ticking things off of our list, because as soon as we get a whole bingo card full of phrases, we get a prize. It's a prize that we have bought for ourselves, but that doesn't matter. It could be a prize that has cost money. It could be right, that's it, I am booking that spa morning. It could be anything that you choose that is your prize for having witnessed these phrases, these sayings, these looks that people have given, and just totally and utterly just stayed fully centered, not responding, feeling a little bit gleeful, because as you're collecting these unhelpful things that people have said. It's moving you closer to the prize that you have chosen for yourself. And there's a question to ponder. What could be a great prize that you could give yourself? And that is me coming out of there and checking to see if that has made any sense at all and whether there are any questions about it.
I'm writing some down. I've got one that I've made myself laugh a little bit, which is my favourite one so far, is I don't know. What do you want for tea? After you've just eaten all the food. Or the other one is, I don't know. What time is lunch going to be ready? What? Those are my favourites. Or can we go to the shops and get... What? They're kids. It's fine.
Yes. Yes. So that's the invitation. Fill your bingo card. And then when those things are said, you can just tick them off. And, and we could do it in a light way. And we can do it. It works also for our own, if we get those little things that pop in for us, that might otherwise cause a sadness. But okay, there's that thing again. It's quite familiar. I'm just going to tick it off and move on. Or we can keep it really light and be like, I'm ticking off the Christmas songs and how many times have I walked out of a shop because this is what I've walked in on. So there are multiple ways that you could play with stress bingo and try and flip the switch a bit. So what would previously cause some kind of upset becomes something that you're almost welcoming in because you're moving closer and closer to a prize. And we would have to pick up talking about
anything that stresses you out. So like,
yeah,
it could be, I don't want to hear Wham's Last Christmas again, or it could be my mum says, oh, I wouldn't do the turkey like that, I do it like this. Okay.
Yeah. I mean, you could have separate ones running. You could have one that was just for Last Christmas. So when you hear it 9 times, you get a prize. You could have you can make it very specific. You could have it for one person only, and it's like, you're just waiting for them to say that thing. So different ways of playing with that. And there we are, almost at the end of our time together. So it's been really lovely to have you here today. Thanks for coming along. I'd love for you to sign up. We have places available. It'd be great to hang out with you through the colder, darker months.